And the basic idea of the software is it allows us to search the Twitter stream of all the tweets that have been made in Twitter in the last 7 to 30 days, depending on how the search works, basically across all of Twitter. So you can see that there are 5 searches at the top. Within the actual front-end sales letter, I think it said there were 4. But like I say, we are constantly improving and adding to it, so there are currently 5. And the basic idea, the way the tool works, is that we can search 5 phrases or keywords here, and then whichever tweets match those phrases will then appear here in this stream, which we can then browse through and either add or skip people, basically. So these are people who've tweeted, who've mentioned something on their Twitter feed, have tweeted one of these phrases that appears here. If someone says something that isn't relevant, that we don't want to advertise that person, then we can skip them by just clicking the skip button here. And the cool thing about this as well is that you don't have to move your mouse. It's very intuitive, and it's deliberately been done that way by myself and the developer. So you can literally just sort of sit here with your mouse and just kind of go back and forth like this. Very, very, very easy. Just glance across at the tweet, and that's basically what you'll be doing is entering phrases here, clicking skip most of the time, and then exporting the people. And what I would suggest you do, the kind of way I approach this, is I do the searches here, skip anyone that's not relevant, and then basically download people here where it says all except skipped. Okay, so those are kind of the 3 main things: the search forms, the skip button, and also this button here, which actually lets you download everyone apart from who you've skipped. This will allow you to filter people, which we can do up here, and this will mean that any words we put here, those people will appear first. Any words that we put here, those people will appear last. So for example, you might put buy, comma, bought, comma, subscribed, something like that, something which shows a person's a buyer or a subscriber. And then here you could put refund, angry, sad. I mean, those are kind of very generic examples, but if we then click on filter results here and here, then those people will appear first and those people will appear last. And that's kind of an advanced thing, but mostly what I'll do is put the keywords in here and then skip people and then export them down here. Okay, and that's the basic functionality of the tool. The second thing that I'll do, which is kind of really useful, is very often what you'll find is this is almost a brainstorming tool, because you'll put phrases in, for example, Teespring Nurse, and you can see here I'm going in, I'm looking for leads that have basically tweeted about Teespring Nurse t-shirts. You'll put a phrase in like this, and then you'll find that actually this one doesn't get good results, but this one does, for example, Nurse t-shirt. Or you might put Nurse t-shirt in, for example, realize it's not got good results, and then put a hyphen in and realize that that was the issue, or in fact just put shirt, for example. Or you'll put Nurse gift in, and you'll find that actually the people using the phrase gift aren't actually nurses. They may be, there's some kind of, and this happens on Twitter, there's some kind of promotion that's gone on. Maybe there's randomly like a talk show host or something tweeted something that said Nurse gift, and everyone's retweeted it, and you'll find that quite often. And that then brings me to this button here, and what this button does is it allows us to search Twitter basically itself. So instead of having to kind of search and then scan through and work out whether a particular phrase was good or bad, what we can do is just find out by clicking on the Twitter button. And what that will do is it will basically search Twitter, and in particular it will search the live search on Twitter and basically show us if those leads are a match, and roughly how many leads we've got. So what I like to do is to look at, firstly look at the tweets that are coming up and see if they're all relevant. So you can see these are, nurses generally who are retweeting Teespring t-shirts that they've bought, which is exactly what we want if we're going to be selling to a nurse. But then the other thing that I like to do is to look at the actual time when it was tweeted, because for example you can see this was tweeted 11 hours ago, and this was tweeted 14 hours ago, this was tweeted 19 hours ago, and so we're basically only getting sort of 3 or 4 tweets per day off this Teespring Nurse kind of search, which isn't really a ton of people. Now we can come back here every week and grab maybe 20 people, and those of course will predominantly be buyers, but it's not a kind of a huge stream of people. So what I'll do is I'll basically just click on this button here, and then just kind of look at the results that are coming up. And if I see, for example, that it's not relevant, or that it's not particularly targeted or something else, then I can just go back and just change it to something else, and then quickly click on this, see if that brings up better or worse results. So that seems to bring up slightly less results. As you can see, we've got 3 hours, 3 hours, 8 hours, 9 hours, whereas this is 8 hours, 9 hours. So this seems to bring up less results. So I can just kind of go back and change it to what it was. And so you can kind of constantly go back and forth between this tool, the Social Titan, between this icon here, which takes us to Twitter, and then what you can also do is have Google open as a browser as well, and Google will kind of allow us to kind of brainstorm some ideas, and this is something that I'm going to go into in a lot of detail in the next couple of days. But I think that pretty much covers it in terms of the fundamentals of the tool. Another thing that I did kind of want to mention is if you're kind of lost, you're not really sure of the best way to find buyers for a particular niche, the easiest thing to do is to find keywords and specifically Twitter accounts, which are basically accounts or handles as they're called, that have got the @ sign. And what this means is it's basically people messaging a particular brand. So let's say here, for example, this was me kind of looking to target people who were interested in a DJ app, which is called the Algorithm DJ app. Okay, and you can see that I've got a mixture of the @ sign, which is basically people talking to the company and saying, pretty much I've bought your product and I have a support question. You can see here, final music tech session this evening. Okay, so this is a music student. Our DJs have used and then he's put 2 kind of brands of mixes. So this is potentially a buyer. This is someone who's purchased this kind of equipment, but he's messaging the company in question, and you can see that with the @ sign. Okay, likewise the hashtag is kind of a trending thing where people will put this hashtag in, and it's basically kind of sort of showing off that they're relating to this particular trend. So pretty much the easiest thing to do in terms of looking for leads is to find brands or companies that are on Twitter, use them and put the @ sign in. If they've got a product, then you can put the hashtag in very often on that product. And then you can also, the third thing is you can also use phrases, and you can use either sort of generic phrases like this, kind of without the inverted commas, or you can use it with the inverted commas, which will make it a bit more targeted basically. You can also see that there's like an advanced search button. If I click on that, that'll bring up the list of all the possible searches you can do within these fields. And you can see that there's some really advanced one. We can even do things such as look at sentiment and mood. So for example, here we have this sad face here, we've got happy face, and this is basically with a positive attitude and a negative attitude. We've got questions, we've got URLs. The other kind of good one is you can put .com websites in. So for example, let's say that there was a website called dj.com, which was for DJs, and I don't know if that is actually a website, but we could put that in. So for example, let's put in clickbank.com, and let's just see. Again, I'll just preview that. Let's just see what kind of results that gets. Okay, so you can see we're getting quite a few results here. 3 minutes, 53 minutes, 53 minutes. So we can guess from that we're probably going to be getting maybe 50 leads per day. So that seems like a good one, but you can see that we can definitely put in .com websites. So it's basically .com websites, @ signs, hashtags, and then also phrases and keywords that relate to our brand. That's fundamentally what we're going to be looking for. So that kind of covers it for the quick introduction video. I know you're excited to get started, so please do so. And once again, thanks for being a Social Titan member. Tons and tons of stuff coming up over the next few days. Can't wait to show it you all. So thanks again, and I'll speak to you soon. Cheers.